My primary source of guidance is from the Quran, not from some textbook of electricity and magnetism and polar magnetism. The Quran tells me that the sun rises from the east, and I gather that in Malaysia it also rises in the east. And the Quran tells me, لا تبديل لخلق الله, that Allah's creation does not change. And so I have chosen to understand the hadith, not literally, but symbolically. That something is going to happen which would symbolize a false sunrise from the west. And I have understood that to be modern, godless, decadent, oppressive, awesomely deceptive Western civilization. And Allah knows best. Number 7, 8, and 9. 3 earthquakes resulting with movements of the earth in which the earth sinks down, khas, and swallows what it swallows. One in the east, one in the west, and the third one in Arabia, and the third one is linked with Imam al-Mahdi. And number 10, that the fire will come out of Yemen and drive people to their place of assembly. Of these 10, the Quran singles out one. And Allah says of that one, the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, وَإِنَّهُ لَعِلْمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ, it can be read that way, or لَعَلَمٌ لِلسَّاعَةِ, it can also be read that way. Perhaps that ilm and alam here are synonymous. Ilm means knowledge, alam means sign. That this is the sign of all signs. The return of the son of Mary, Nabi Isa alayhi salam, the most powerful voice in history ever to have prophesied the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, the return of Jesus, is the voice of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Even if we did not have the ahadith, it is still possible, using the Quran alone, to establish belief in the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. And so if you reject belief in the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, you will not be able to understand the end time. No. No matter how great a scholar you may be. There is a branch of knowledge which studies and explains the end time. In Bahasa, in Malayu, you call it ilmu akhirul zaman. And in the English language, we call it Islamic eschatology. Don't bother with the big word. Islamic eschatology. Since we now have the tall buildings, I don't know whether you have missed it. If you have, take a taxi to KLCC, you'll see it. The evidence is there as plain as daylight that we're now living in the end times. And so it is Islamic eschatology which will explain the world today, not the New Straits Times, and not your local television station, not even your government. It is Islamic eschatology which will explain the world today. And at the heart of Islamic eschatology, or ilmu akhirul zaman, is the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. Let me repeat, that if you reject belief in the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, you can't guide Muslims in this age. No. Because you cannot yourself understand the reality of the world in the end time. We now turn to a hadith in Sahih Bukhari. In which Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam said, and it is a very short hadith, you can memorize it before you leave the masjid tonight. Kayfa antum? How will you be at that time? Oh, what a wonderful time that would be. إِذَا نَزَلَ عَلَيْكُمْ نُ مَرْيَمَ, when the son of Mary will descend amongst you. Oh, so he's not descending in Rome. Oh no. When the son of Mary descends amongst you, whether they like it or whether they don't, when Jesus comes back, he's coming to us. He's descending amongst Muslims. كيف أنتم إذا نزل عليكم ابن مريم وإمامكم منكم? And at that time, your Imam would be from within your own ranks. He would be a Muslim. And so there is an Imam in the end time. And the advent of that Imam, I'm going to use another big word now. First one was eschatology. The advent of that Imam will be contemporaneous. Long word, huh? Contemporaneous, meaning at the same time with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. The advent of that Imam would be at the same time with the return of Nabi Isa alayhi salam. But he would have to come before. And then after he has come, then Nabi Isa alayhi salam will come. Who is that Imam who will emerge in the end time? And who is an Imam? And what will be the implications of the emergence of an Imam at that time? These are fascinating questions. We have to simply leave Sahih Bukhari and go to Sahih Muslim and we get the answer that Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam prophesied that that Imam would be known as Imamul Mahdi, the rightly guided Imam. And we also are told that he is going to be from the seed of Muhammad sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, from his daughter Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha. So he's going to be an Arab. I don't think he can be an Indonesian. Huh? Or Malaysian. He has to be an Arab, eh? Okay. This Imam who will emerge at the time when Nabi Isa alayhi salam is to return is not only from the seed of Nabi Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, but we also have a description of his physical features, a broad forehead and a large nose and so on. And we also know something about his functions. That at that time the world will be filled with oppression. Well, it has already come.